Hey guys, what's up? It's Kama Saturday. Today's video, I want to talk about how the best defense is a strong offense, and also talk about gate theory. Okay, gate theory is a concept in Wing Chun, but it can be used in different arts, of course. And the whole idea behind it is that you divide the body into sections or gates, okay, quadrants, whatever you want to call it, okay, and in order to defend, you don't need to memorize 10,000 techniques. You just have to know that you need to put something there to defend, to cover that gate, okay? Because two objects can't occupy the same space at the same time, okay? So you put something there, right, and you will successfully defend, okay? Another thing too is that you can also get out of the way of that gate too, okay? That's another thing too, okay? So maybe that person will occupy the gate, but you get out of the way and then you counter, okay? So you either occupy it or you get out of the way of it, okay? But either way, you want to use that as a basis for your defense, okay? But the thing though, above and beyond that though, you need to remember that the best defense is a strong offense, and that means that yes, you want to occupy center, or you want to occupy center, you want to occupy those gates, whatever, okay? But you always want to think offensively, okay? So, and here's where people get kind of mixed up, and they don't know how to use it properly. So when I say you want to occupy the gate, people take that a little too literally. I think, oh, okay, I'll just put a hand here. I'll just put a hand here. Put a hand here. Okay. Well, if you do that, then you're just thinking defensively, passively, but you haven't done anything to hurt the opponent. Okay. So that's the thing. So you always want to think hit. So rather than thinking in that way, now if I'm doing, let's say we call this a high gansao, okay? Something's coming here towards my upper upper left gate, for example, okay, or right in the middle, okay. Well, here I get this out of the way, okay. Now from here I can continue with something else, okay. But what if instead of thinking that way, okay, it can't work, okay, but instead of thinking that way, what if I make that into a strike already, okay, instead of here, right? Okay, yeah, so I've also gotten out of the way of the gate too, but I've occupied it, but I've also hit at the same time, okay, hammer fist to the side of his face, okay. All right, so that's another way of looking at it, okay. But even if you're not directly striking with that initial hit, right, it may set me up for something else. Now let's say someone tries to go for a liver shot here, okay. Well, maybe I'll do a low gansao, for example, here, right, a low gansao, bang, okay, to stop that liver shot, okay, bang, okay. So, hand up here, okay, but I'm not just thinking I'm passively blocking it, and that's it. I am thinking, well, I can either strike at the same time, I can block that and strike at the same time with the other one, we call it like a ganda, like bang, I can do that too. Or I can also think about where maybe if I didn't do that, maybe I covered here, right? The thing is, my body is now loaded, okay, because I'm using that kind of spring energy, okay. I've come down here, okay, and bang, 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 okay. So now I've loaded myself to do a counter, okay. So the thing is that you're, in some way or another, you're always thinking hit, all right? Either I hit on that first move, or I'm using that defensive move to set up my hit on my second move, okay? All right, but you always gotta think hit, okay? That's the idea, okay? So understand the gate theory, understand that you need to occupy it somehow or get out of the way of it, all right? But that does not mean that you're passive or you're only thinking about putting something in the way. You're thinking about hitting at the same time, okay? And understanding this is the difference between making it work and making it not work, okay? Some people will tell you about using all this soft energy and this kind of stuff, and they just have no clue about real fighting. They have no clue about real combat, okay? You try and do that kind of stuff in a real fight against some big dude who wants to hurt you, well, good luck to you. It's not going to work, okay? You need to take the fight right to him, and you need to be aggressive. It's the only way any of this is ever going to work, okay? So in terms of the actual parries themselves, the defenses themselves, okay, now you've got body movement, okay, which will we've done before, okay? But every single parry you do, every single deflection you do, we don't really like to block, but we do try to some block sometimes. We prefer to parry or deflect, okay? It's either going to go towards your center or away from your center, okay? So, you know, you don't need to memorize 10,000 things, okay? But you need to understand this basic concept, either towards the center or away from the center, okay? So if things are coming, you know, and again, it depends on where the attacks are coming from, okay? So if something's coming at this high gate here, right? Well, maybe the high gansao here, towards the center. Or this is called like a faksao, like a chop, so away from the center, okay? Something's coming around here, away from the center. Towards the center, away from the center, okay? If it's down lower, my middle gate, right, then it will be right towards my center. This we call this jumsao, okay? Also, like in Pichuan, like in Xingyi, right, it's chopping personality regardless, okay, towards the center, okay? If it's away from the center, well, we have tansao, we have lapsao, we have things like that. In Bagua, this is the outside dragon sweep, also outside line sweep, little arc there, arc, bang, bang, right? So I come, if I arc it down a little bit, boom, 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 okay? And then we have lower, we have our gansao, okay? We have this is called gumsao, okay, like here. This is done in the Chumkyu form, the second form of Wing Chun, but down the center here, right here, so towards the center, away from the center, okay? Towards the center, right, away from the center. Towards the center, away from the center, okay? And of course, it can be done with the other hand too, the rear hand, okay? But that gives you an idea, okay? So everything you do is going to be like that, towards the center or away from the center, okay? So just remember that you need to cover those gates and go from there. And of course, when it comes to legs, of course, you would use legs to defend legs for the most part, okay? I have done it before, where I have punched someone's leg. It's happened before, okay? A little unorthodox, but I've done it before, okay? So it can be done too, right? Or do if someone, well, they teach this in Muay Thai sometimes, where someone does a round kick, and they will do like essentially what we call a double jump sao, or in Bagua, it's like a double shocking strike. And we do this kind of thing when we use the whole body. But natural application is just a quick boom, right? Boom, right? Like that, okay? But again, you know, we're the same thing, right? We're looking at the gates, okay? So once again, remember, you want to occupy the gate somehow with your own defense, or ideally your own strike, okay? And remember to always think hit. So either try and get it on that first hit, get that first hit, combine a hit with the defense, or on the second beat, the second hit, where you use it to set up your counter, okay? But either way, everything is either a hit itself or sets up a follow-up hit, okay? But nothing is ever passive. You don't ever want to think that way, because once you get in that game, once you get in that habit and things are going, and you're just you know, backing up and you're defensive, the opponent's got you. Okay, he's got you. He can make a funny face. He can, you know, throw his hand up here. He can spit. He can do something like that, and he knows that you will react to him. Okay, but you want to be the one to make him react to you. Maybe he gets the first hit somehow, or the first attempted hit. Okay, fine. Okay, deal with it. But then immediately go on the attack and give him something to think about. Give him something to worry about. Okay, and that's the thing. Okay, combat. Fighting is aggressive. You must be aggressive. If you're not, it won't work. Like, forget the soft energy bullshit that people talk about, okay? They're full of shit, okay? They really are, okay? You need to be aggressive. You need to have the capacity for violence if you want to actually make this work. If you don't like that, well, that's too bad. You know, go do yoga, go do Pilates, go do something else, okay? But if you want to do martial arts, this is the mindset you must have. You must want to hurt the opponent, all right? Or you can try and de-escalate things and walk away, okay? but once things are on and there's no way out of it, you have to want to hurt the opponent. You have to really take him out, okay? You have to have that mindset. You have to be a little bit psychotic, okay? That's the only way you can actually make this work. All right, and that's the reality. No matter what anyone tries to tell you about this soft energy shit, okay, whatever. No, that's the reality. All right. Okay. So, anyways, hope you liked the video. Any questions, as always, let me know, and see you guys soon.